Good morning and welcome to all. No matter how well we know the oceans, we will never be able to discover all their secrets. But today we will show you one of them, surely the most extraordinary. So, hurry to the coast. Today we will tell you about another danger that few of you know about, a danger that could cost the life of anyone who ventures there. So, before you jump into the water, you must know this hidden side of the oceans. Let's begin. The ocean is one of the most incredible and majestic natural elements that constitute planet Earth. At their site, this eternal expanse of water is immense in its beauty and above all, in the symbolism it represents, since it combines all the power of nature and its calm. The ocean has also witnessed the journeys of man for thousands of years. And man has had a very exclusive relationship with the marine manifestations of which he has been a spectator. Between explorations, piracy, and simple pleasure boating, thousands of legends linked to the marine world have been born. However, it is undeniable that the ocean, although it has always fascinated man, can also be his worst enemy. When we have the chance to admire an ocean, visit a coastal town, an island, or simply a lake region, we generally expect to see sumptuous and exceptional landscapes. Of course, this is often the case, but what we, unfortunately, tend to overlook are all the various dangers around us that could cost us our lives if our vigilance and attention are not at its peak. And when we talk about danger, the first thing that comes to mind is the risk of drowning. Unfortunately, this is a great risk for even the most experienced swimmer. No one is immune to whirlwinds at sea, hurricanes, or unexpected large waves. Nevertheless, another case exists, and it is even more dangerous because it is apparently calm and discreet, and it is called the cross-sea phenomenon. What is the cross-sea phenomenon? Nature has always surprised mankind, and with the phenomenon of the crossed sea, it proves to be even more surprising. The phenomenon of the crossed sea occurs when very particular conditions come together, thus giving rise to an exceptional spectacle. The sea seems to serve as a canvas for a divine hand that draws perfectly equal squares on it, like a sort of immense chessboard over the ocean. The effect given by these strange patterns in the water is the impression that a giant metal grid lies beneath the ocean. And to understand how these square waves are formed, we first need to know how they occur. The explanation for square waves is quite simple. They are normal waves that form a grid on the sea surface. This is what we call in navigation, crossed sea, two-sided sea, or sea cross. This is the sea state in which two wave systems move at oblique angles. This can occur when waves generated at a distant point, seafloor, by wind or a low-pressure system, continue to travel despite the wind changes encountered during their journey. Waves generated by a new or local wind system cross with old or distant ones, creating a changing and dangerous pattern. The process continues until the old waves dissipate. For this reason, great care must be taken, as a greater percentage of marine accidents occur when this phenomenon occurs. According to the European Space Agency, the cross-sea phenomenon occurs when wave systems move relative to each other at oblique angles. Waves can travel thousands of kilometers across the water surface. Even on the calmest days, storms raging elsewhere in the ocean create rippling and breaking waves that radiate away from the storm and carry the shoreline of a distant land to affect the calm areas nearby. These are called swells, which is different from ocean waves raised by the local wind, explains Amusing Planet about this weather phenomenon. In other words, the swell is a very special case of a non-breaking wave. Calmer. It is however relatively regular even if it does not correspond to the very definition of a normal and periodic wave. The swell is more likely to resemble a kind of wave whose amplitude varies gently. This is the part where the sea state has no contact with the local wind. And if you're wondering where you can see this beautiful natural spectacle, we have the answer for you. Get ready. We are taking off for one of the most beautiful islands in the world. Where can we admire the phenomenon of the crossed sea? There are several places in the world where the phenomenon of the crossed sea is very frequent. It tends to occur more often in shallow water. Swells can be found in every ocean on Earth. However, there is only one island in the world where square waves are perfectly visible. This is the Isle of Ré, off the west coast of France. This island is only 30.5 kilometers long and 4.8 kilometers wide, and yet it harbors one of the greatest ocean dangers. Thanks to its beautiful blue waters, fine sandy beaches, and magnificent lighthouses, it is a popular holiday destination and is also a place that is particularly known for its cross sea. Many visitors are captivated by these waves and travel to high places such as nearby lighthouses to take pictures of this rare natural phenomenon. The most curious like to go especially to the Whale Lighthouse dating back to the 19th century to observe the majestic spectacle. And although these waves are one of the main reasons why tourists flock to this island, they are likely to find themselves disappointed since the sea is often calm and relaxing most of the time. What is important to know is that cross seas only occur at certain times of the year, and occur especially with very particular weather conditions, which naturally diminishes the chances of it happening. The local authorities of the Isle of Ré, who are perfectly aware of the danger threatening them, therefore strictly prohibit all bathing and recommend staying away from the ocean when square waves appear. This is why few times have bathers been caught in them, as both locals and tourists are very well warned. Although they are fascinating, the people who choose to observe them from afar, choose above all their safety, because they know perfectly well that these giant squares can cost them their lives. However, not everyone is aware of the danger of this phenomenon, and that is the problem. Crossed sea more fearsome than it seems. Beware of sleeping water. Never has an example illustrated this adage so well, because, in the case of a swell or a cross sea, water can be fatal to us. It is clear that the sea in this case offers a splendid spectacle for the lucky observers. However, the pattern created may be very well admirable, but it is no less formidable. Many theories put forward the idea that the danger is essentially linked to this form of a wave. Other sources say, on the contrary, that these assertions are somewhat exaggerated, at least outside of a strong wave in the open sea, and that it is rather the force of the wave that would represent the danger and not its form. To return to the example of the Isle of Ré, this French island is located in a place where two oceans meet. As the two seas collide with their two swells of different forces, they mix, but not as two bodies of water would normally do, as in the case of a waterfall that empties into a lake. The two seas have completely different weather conditions, so when they collide, they create a unique pattern and create waves that are stronger than average waves, much stronger than what we usually see at the beach. Some studies claim that these high and unpredictable waves can reach up to 3 meters in height and are capable of toppling even the largest boats. This is why, even if the phenomenon of the crossed sea is on the surface a surprising spectacle, in reality, it presents an enormous danger for swimmers and boats. Indeed, when the two wave systems meet, the associated powerful ocean currents prevent anyone in the water or any boat from reaching the coast. A kind of trap from which it is very difficult or impossible to escape. These waves generally pose a risk to swimmers and boaters. The force of the collision of the seas usually causes strong ocean currents, capable of swallowing people and boats to a certain depth. This would not be the first time this has happened. If you ever encounter square waves, you know, it's best to enjoy them from the shore. In fact, many mariners have testified during sailings that their boats, whether sturdy or more modest, found themselves completely helpless in the face of these predatory waves coming from all angles. Fortunately, very luckily, they managed to get out of it safe and sound. But what if a surfer or swimmer was to get stuck in these waves and find himself in trouble? We can assure you that there is a strong chance that the outcome would unfortunately be fatal. Besides, swells exist in all the oceans of the world, so a cross sea can occur anywhere. But if the angle of approach is smaller than 90 degrees, the opposite wave may appear to come from the same direction even if it does not, making the phenomenon all the more dangerous and unpredictable. The swimmer may have the impression that is being caught by two successive waves, which is quite normal when in reality, the swimmer is trapped by two opposing waves, which will eventually close in on him and prevent him from returning to the beach. The specialists and scientists who study the phenomenon of the cross sea take the subject very seriously and therefore prefer to warn the most adventurous and courageous minds. Swimming should be strictly forbidden when the sea is crossed. So, you will have understood, if one day you see such waves, you should not throw yourself in the water, but rather admire the sumptuous spectacle that is offered to you. So, have you ever had a chance to see a real cross sea? Tell us in the comments how you find this extraordinary phenomenon, and don't hesitate to share this video to inform and warn your friends about this danger.